My name is Jonathan Simon, and I will be doing the audio and PowerPoint presentation for our group. This is the Ford Motor case analysis, and we have 4 people in our group, as we have Julie Duckett, Caitlin Fortenay, myself, Jonathan Simon, and our 4th, Lauren Worthington. And this is the Ford Motor case analysis. So Ford was founded back in the late 1900s, founded by the Henry Ford, of course. And Henry Ford decided that they were the first company to create a moving assembly line for car production and inventory manufacturing. This was a great way to start off in the late 1900s, where took off for everybody, every other car brand in the world. So as Henry Ford was the founder, they then passed it down to Henry Ford II. He then struggled with the business over time, and the employees under the owner decided it was time for him to leave. They weren't having a good job. They decided to do a leadership change. As they went from one Ford to another Ford, then they decided to switch it to a family member. Of course, that did not work long, as they, of course, wanted a Ford working in the company. So they had to make a change, place 2 men in charge as a leadership change, international crisis. They decided to have one non-family member and a family member run the Ford Motor Vehicle Company. This did help them out profit-wise and expanded the company, although during the time, the economy was bad. So Ford was singled out to be replaced by his son at the time, which then led to that decision. So we're going to go into what led to this central issue. Well, obviously, Ford and Nasser are the two people that were running this company. Obviously, they did things very different, although they had very different approaches and backgrounds to the business with decisions and money problems and everything. So as Nasser began to take the company's name out, he did put the company in a lot of jeopardy. Obviously, they increased his salary thinking he was going to be the guy that was going to change this company, and it was the complete different. It just drastically went down the drain as he led this company into financial debt, damaged the quality of first of all the reputation of Ford, and it was only a matter of time until Nasser was then fired for damaging this great company that they started off and got on a great track and then went down the drain. Well, obviously, there was an issue and there needed to be the co-leadership, but this gentleman, Nasser, took Ford almost to Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and then Billy Ford came in and handed the position over to another gentleman, where he did get Ford back on top. And we look at these 3 solutions that could help us, or could help Ford in general. And this is the first one. Ever since Billy Ford took over the ownership, the company did make a lot more profitable moves and made more vehicles, obviously with high quality and affordable costs, because obviously in the 1900s it wasn't a great time, economy was low. People, of course, are driving cars, but who can afford a car in the 1900s unless it's an affordable price? So they focused on advertising, as that became a huge thing back then as the TV started to come out. They knew that there was going to need to be commercials and to get the Ford brand out. Rebranding the company, it had been a good rebranding, but it gave them the opportunity to reposition themselves, of course, in the research market and get their name back out there to prove to everybody that this is a sustainable company and they can do something. The third solution was obviously upgrade the models of cars and try to expand the market internationally outside of the United States, because there's more to it other than the United States. And I did like the third solution, of course, and that's going to make everything a lot better quality-wise, and it's going to get the name brand out in general. The best solution is they needed to rebrand their image. Nobody liked what was going on in the beginning, and it ran down at the ground in the economy and was not good at the time. So it was just a bad time to start a car manufacturing business. Of course, everyone has issues, but that's what it takes to bring a company up to the very top of the top. And then this is what happened. They needed to rebrand and set a new image. So what they thought they were going to do was Ford was going to be the race car of the country. After the Le Mans and the racing, they thought Ford could be the new Ferrari. And they then decided to go on that path for a little bit, which would change the whole industry. And obviously, Ford versus Ferrari, great movie. It sets the tone, and this is exactly the same thing. As they're trying to get a race car on the market to take over the Ferrari, it would completely change the market and the industry and setting a trend for this company. I think the main solution to bringing this company back on top is obviously they need to have quality cars and affordable cars. Without that, this company is not doing what they have been doing. Obviously, with the newest hybrid, Ford has definitely taken a step up in life. As ever since from 2012, before that, Ford was in a dark stage, wasn't a good look for them whatsoever. Until 2012, they finally got back on the market and started developing and manufacturing cars that were affordable and quality for years to come for Americans, and of course outside of the country. And once we reach our conclusion, I would like to say that, of course, the motor vehicles and Ford are focusing on rebranding, as they should. They need to specifically focus on rebranding for their beliefs and the ideals to bring themselves into a positive light. Obviously, the goal in the company is they want to produce revenue and have profit. And of course, they want to have cars that are going to be affordable and not go down on them in the next year. So that's they have been inconsistent with their success, obviously. And the best way to show that is to rebrand. And as you can see, a great example is as we get into the 2025, 2026s, we've moved into electric cars. There's a saying that we might not be seeing any gas cars in the next couple of years. It might just be specifically hybrid electric cars. And that is the trend that Ford has been trying to take, as they are producing more cars that are hybrid, saving you gas, saving the economy, and specifically saving the pollution, as these gas vehicles are polluting this world. And that's the biggest step in the rebrand, is you want to come out to the country, even outside of the country, let them know that these gas vehicles are not what everyone says they are. Sure, they're great, of course. Gas is cheap. Electric cars are going to be a little bit more money, but you're going to save money in the long grand scheme of things. I think that businesses should really give this a successful try, as everyone is going to electric, of course. Ford obviously has been a company for a lot of years now, and if they're still in the business, it's not going to go downhill unless something happens in the organizational part or the management part of this. I think that Ford is a great company, and obviously they've been around for a long time. It's a name brand company. Nobody's going to forget the name of Henry Ford. That's where the company based off of. The next thing is the conclusion to this is the main solution is to get Ford back in the game. They need a huge stepping stone that's going to bring them back. Obviously in 2012 they did have it, but the race car trend, it was a hot take. It was a great analogy, but unfortunately Ford is obviously not a race car, and Ferrari, Porsche, they've beat them. Ford is the generic American-made car vehicle that everyone depends on. Everyone knows Ford is great vehicles, great engines, long-lasting cars, and no matter what happened, that's just how businesses come up and went in tough times, obviously, and rebranding something. So once again, Ford, great company. Obviously, trying to build up the company. There was struggles, but that's how every company is building up and organization wise. That's just how it goes. And that is going to be it for the Ford Motor case analogy. Great company, and they just are rebranding to this country, and electric vehicles. You're going to see more and more of them come out very soon, I promise. And Ford will be making even more and more models to try to get this country setting in the right trend in a different direction. Thank you.